Hello, my name is Robert Harron and I am here to give you the post-match reaction for Rangers 0, Benfica 1 at a very wet Ibrox Stadium tonight. Brought to you by the Gallant Few and the Rangers Journal. I think to begin with, the first team was a bit of a surprise for everyone. I think that with Scott Wright starting, I think everyone was slightly surprised for that. We thought probably Matondo would start, considering he had some time at the weekend to maybe start and then be brought off in the second half. So that was a slight shock to the system. However, we started the game well. We limited Benfica to very little in the first half. We were quite positive in going forward without really testing their keeper very much, and again with the way the weather has been tonight, we should have probably made more of that against this Benfica team, who in all honesty didn't look that great this evening. Yes, they were a tidy team, however they, as I say, were limited to very few chances in the first half. We did have a near goal with the keeper nearly putting the ball through his legs, and then we had another maybe a couple of chances, half chances by Dessers, who again was not really productive. Again, I think we should expect that of him by now, considering the amount of time he's had on the park for us. He is somewhat of a presence up front, but again lacks the final ball that we really needed tonight. I think with the back line of Butland, Yilmaz, Suter, Goldson and Tav was relatively solid the full game. I think that the midfield two of Linney and Diomande did look tired as the game progressed. I do feel that Diomande definitely looks as if he needs a break, having not really played a lot since November. I think you're really starting to see that now. I do think the width of the team was limited again this evening. Fabio Silva was industrious as ever, again lacking maybe a final ball and maybe a wee bit of luck with creativity. I do think as a whole in the first half we were slacking possession at times. I do think Lawrence maybe wasn't given the comfort from the width and the two playing in behind to really allow him to express himself as freely as we know he can and maybe support Dessers more. Again, very difficult with the lack of options that we have at the moment due to the injuries that we've sustained over the last few weeks and months. At half time, everything was still to play for, still 0-0. Again, we didn't make any changes at half time. Benfica, I think, made one change. I think on the whole, from a Benfica perspective, the number 4 for them kind of mopped up everything aerially first half and seemed to have a relatively easy game against Dessers, despite his best efforts to cause a bit of disruption. So we move into the second half. It gets to maybe 60-70 minutes, and that's when the manager decides to make his changes. And I think at that point we were still in the tie. Again, we limited them to very little in the second half. We didn't really seem as if we were struggling really at that point, although I do think that we should have made a couple of subs sooner than the 70-minute mark. I think the first couple of subs were Cantwell and Matondo to come on for Scott Wright and for Tom Lawrence. Again, Cantwell being out for 8 weeks to come on, I think it would be quite a lot to have asked for him to be the game changer that we think he is, and hope that he can show us as the season comes to its business end. Again, Matondo, I felt, never really had a lot of chances second half when he did come on for the 20 minutes that he showed. Again, maybe just that's the fact he's not into a game rhythm, having not had a lot of game time recently, again coming back from injury. The pivotal moment was when Benfica scored. Again, that was I think around the 70-minute mark, between 70 and 75 minutes. The ball is lost in really the final third of the park, I think by Diamandi. Again, just some slack passes were starting to become more regular as the game wore on in the second half. They had a very quick counter attack between Di Maria and Rafa Silva, who we know are both very skilled players. Rafa Silva comes through, slots the ball past Jack Butland. There is a VAR check to see if the goal is offside or not. It does take 2 to 3 minutes to get that decision over the line. Once that goal stands, we then look to make further changes, with Ruth coming on for Dessers, and I think at that point we also changed, more or less at that point, Diamandi for Raskin. So again, giving those guys 15 minutes to try and make an impact on the game. I do think that Clement maybe should have done that a bit sooner. I'm not sure if he was looking at the possibility of going into extra time and penalties, but with that being said, we really should have went for it for that last half hour to at least try and push home at 0-0, and then certainly even more so once we go 1-0 down. At that point, once Benfica score, they tend to kind of revert to type. They were very solid, very defensive, very compact. We were again in control of the game from a possession point of view, but again lacked really any creativity in final execution of the ball into the net, which again has just been a bit of a common trend recently, where we've really struggled at times to put the ball in the net from attacking positions. Maybe a heavier reliance on the midfield to help out there. So the game comes to an end. Again, unfortunately, we've been out of Europe tonight. I think, as much as it's a disappointing result for the team, I do think we can be proud that we have went into the last 16 of the Europa League, considering where we were 4 or 5 months ago. I do think this maybe has been a game too far for some of the players from an injury point of view, and also just a tiredness point of view, with especially likes of Diamandi, Lundstrom playing quite a lot of games and not being afforded the opportunity to have a rest. We've got one more game before the international break, which is Dundee on Sunday. Again, hopefully we can make some rotation and empty the tank in that one, and allow us to get to the international break with no more injuries, and hopefully get some players back for the title run in. I do hope that we can now press forward with a significant run in the Scottish Cup. Again, being in the semi-final, we're well placed for that against Hearts, and also in the league. Again, hopefully, as I say, we can get some players back after injury. But I think overall it's a disappointing result, but again maybe clears the path for us domestically to push forward with the league title, which is an absolute must now, and also in the Scottish Cup, which would be a nice bonus to have. I'd like to thank everyone for listening this evening. There's far more content online. If you like to follow us on YouTube and social media, and on Twitter, you can find us at the Gallant Few 1 and the Rangers Journal. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify and Apple. Again, thanks everyone for listening. Go home safe. We move on to Sunday, and let's hope we're in a better place moving forward for the end of the season. Thanks everyone. Good night.